This week we have questions on green chili, Dante, anti-Israel pro-Palestinian protests, and Charles answers if Pope Benedict was a modernist. Welcome to another episode of Off the Menu, now being broadcast and podcast on the Crusade Channel. Talk radio the way it should be at crusadechannel.com. I'm your host, Vincent Franchini from Tumblr House, here with a Viticultural, Charles Coulombe.
Viticultural.
Yes.
Viticultural. All right, let me get this straight. I'm up here in the Napa Valley. I go on and lousy one wine tasting yesterday, and that makes me viticultural.
Yeah, why not? You're in wine country.
Okay, let me ask you: would I be viticultural if I was in a gutter drinking Mad Dog out of a paper bag?
If you were in a gutter drinking what?
Mad Dog 2020. Maybe Thunderbird. You know, the quality wines that they used to make for the, shall we say, less discriminating palate.
In a sense, you could be viticultural, I guess. There are all certain tiers and levels of being viticultural, I guess. High end and low end.
That'd be pretty low end if you ask me. Well, I mean, it's, I guess, the same with the beer industry. If I was lying in that same alley, clutching a can of the late limited Brew 102, I guess, what was the other one, that malt liquor they used to have in LA? It was very local, and it was really cheap as cheap could be. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It was a malt liquor that was big in LA when I was a kid. I mean, it was really the wino's choice. LA malt liquor. I'm sure. I mean, it was right up there with Brew 102, which was a beer that was pretty bad. Not that that's a bad thing. Los Angeles malt liquor. Brew 102, it was like there was a bull or something on it. Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor Delivery. I like that. Was it Code 45? Yeah, it's Code 45. Gosh, they're still making it. 1245 malt liquor. Yeah. Wow.
How much is it? Like, how much is cheap?
Well, in those days, it was really cheap. It was just malt liquor goes wild. The malt liquor makes new friends. Let me see. Oh, champagne! I remember that. But you know, cheap. To answer your question, about 50 cents for a 6-pack.
A 6-pack?
Which, yeah.
Okay.
But it's a malt liquor robbery. No, it's been called liquid crack. Gee. Oh man, Shevitz. The malt liquor in Los Angeles, fortified wines were the drink of choice for 46% of problem drinkers, compared to 18% who preferred malt liquor. So you see, malt liquor got a bad rap. I feel bad about that.
I apologize to everyone about the blinding light, which you just encountered seconds ago. Sorry. Just one of the hazards of the show, I guess you could say.
Well, look. Oh, Voltaggio, huh? I just, you see, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, I'm in the wine country at the moment, I have this light behind me because I'm in a I'm in a motel room in Napa Valley, not in a not at all in a resort. Yeah, I guess it was cold 45, and there was like brown bull or something, blue bull, I forget. Anyway, it doesn't matter, blue dog or something. The point is, I've taken all this little bit of time out that you'll have to edit, I'm sure, to bring it back down. But, and this is an important point, there's a reason why cheap booze is cheap. And you know why that is?
Why is cheap booze cheap?
Democracy.
Can you elaborate?
Of course I can. Imagine that the only alcohol available was Dom Perignon and 15th brandy. Only the very wealthy could drink themselves into a tizzy then. But thanks to the existence of cheap liquor, everybody can do it. Drunkenness, idiotic behavior is not merely a preserve of the ultra rich. So I feel that people like the makers of Mad Dog and Thunderbird and so on, they are doing their part to spread democracy.
Okay, I'll roll with that.
All right, well, indeed, especially if you had, a couple bottles of Mad Dog in your belt. But here's the question: you've been drunk at different times, yes?
Yes.
Different fluids, right?
Yes.
Well, laying aside both the hangover and the length of time it took to get there, wasn't the experience of drunkenness very much the same from one drink to another?
Was the experience of drunkenness the same from one drink to another?
Yeah, in other words, when you were drunk on one alcohol, and again, I'm not talking about the hangover, and I'm not talking about the length of time to get there, but once you were there, didn't it feel very much the same, regardless of which liquor put you there?
I guess so.
All right, so this is one of the few experiences the poor man and the rich man can have in common.
Equality in drunkenness.
Yeah, it's a question of equality. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. It's a question of equality.
Okay. Fine. Sure. Great. Beautiful.
Well, wait, that's not all. Have you noticed one of our major sources of food that is not generally thought of as a place of drunkenness? The last frontier for the alky, in other words?
What?
Chinese restaurants.
Chinese restaurants?
Chinese restaurants.
So, what do they serve as?
They don't generally serve alcohol. When they do, it's things like plum wine and sake that most people don't generally drink.
And this is Chinese restaurants? Maybe I'm thinking of Japanese restaurants with
they'll have the sake and all that, without a doubt. But Chinese restaurants are not generally thought of as places to go and get sozzled.
Well, why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's racism, basically.
Well, hey, it wouldn't be a cultural thing? I mean, are you telling me that Chinese are different in that sense compared to perhaps the West?
No, I think the Westerners are refusing to drink Chinese liquor.
That's very interesting.
More than that, when was the last time you saw alcohol on a Chinese takeaway menu?
It's been a while, I guess.
Yeah, well, you have it. But see, once upon a time, back in the golden age of Chinese takeaway, you could get a Tsingtao beer brought with your food.
The golden age, Chinese takeout.
The golden age of Chinese takeout. Absolutely.
Wow.
The glorious days they were, and they have passed. You don't remember them, do you? You're too young.
I am too young, and my family is way too cultural. I mean, between the Slavic food, the Hungarian food, the Italian food, we kind of have a. And I mean, we're right next to El Monte in Duarte, so we've got a lot of cultures to go through. You know what I mean?
Look, once upon a time in the good old days, if you pulled a late night at the office, there would be several things present: endless cups of coffee, endless cigarettes, and endless Chinese takeout. You'd have Chinese food boxes everywhere. See, but you've never done that. Your generation just.
Well, I feel like that's an age.
Chinese takeout has passed.
I guess so, because we have. I mean, there's so many food delivery services now that we've used in the office. I guess DoorDash is the death of Chinese takeout, and DoorDash and the like.
So basically, what you're saying is that once again, America's institutional racism is what ended the golden age of Chinese takeout.
I guess you're saying that. I don't know if I'm saying that. This is your. This is don't put it on me. You're driving this entire narrative, and then you just tried to take the whole thing and put it on my head. I have nothing to do with this. I'm just barely hanging along for the ride, buddy.
I'm not stealing the credit for this. You're the one who's brought us at last consciousness of what we've lost.
I didn't say anything at all. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything.
You did.
What did I say?
You said you've never had it.
So what? I can't say that? Why can't I say that?
No, of course you can, but it proves the point. The golden age of Chinese takeout has passed.
It proves your point. I had no point in the matter. I had no skin in the game on this one. I'm just here. You're on this crusade.
And don't even know it.
You're on this crusade. I'm just here.
You had it taken from you. You're a victim, basically. You're a victim. You and your entire generation are victims. That's what this means.
Okay. Write a piece on it and put it in the, I don't know, Catholic Herald or something.
I wasn't victimized. I lived through the golden age of Chinese takeout. But you're the one who's been stuck on the other side.
I don't know. Panda Express is pretty decent.
Oh, no. Panda Express is a chain. The golden age involved mom and pop restaurants, Chinese restaurants, who would send over box after box of delicious Chinese food. And sometimes they put in a little extra, extra fortune cookies, 3 or more envelopes of soy sauce, whatever. And that, that showed that they were, what they were, copacetic. But by the time your folks came along, you have been deprived of this essential element of America's culinary heritage.
I believe that. I mean, you're effectively creating this sort of phenomenon that I didn't even realize was a thing. I mean, I guess I realized it was a thing. I just didn't dwell on it or care as much as I do at this very moment in time.
I'm glad that you're waking up to the fact that you were wrong. I'm glad that you realize that you're beginning to realize the magnitude of the theft from your generation.
Okay. Did you even have Chinese food since you've been back? Did you even have Chinese food? I bet you haven't.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Still there, and I've had Mexican.
You haven't had Mexican food?
And I've been. No, I have had.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've had Mexican. I've been to the Colonial Kitchen. I've been to Peacock Donuts, as you saw last week. I've been to, I've been to Sydney's at Eagle Rock and had their gumbo and various other goodies. So yeah, the feeding frenzy continues. It's been put on hold up here in Napa because their meals are somewhat different here.
Mm. That goes nicely into one of our questions from Miranda, who says, "Greetings. As Charles is returning to the southwestern corner of these United States for a feeding frenzy, I feel compelled to ask a question about what I hold to be the most truly American dish, native to the best part of the states, the Southwest. Does Charles have any thoughts on green chili? And would he be kind enough to share them with us? We know he spent time in New Mexico, but I personally prefer Colorado green chili on a near grotesquely smothered burrito or fries." Charles?
Well, I don't really like chili on fries, to be honest with you. That'd be sort of a weird kind of poutine, and I'm a poutine purist, actually. To be frank, I am. But I do like chili. Well, I see that. You know what? I lie. I do like chili fries. It's funny. You don't think of the kind of chili you'd get with fries as chile, like chile verde.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine chile verde on fries, you know. But no, chile verde, green chili is really, it's very good. You get it in New Mexico. It's hotter though, and it's spicier than red chili usually.
Okay.
And of course, there's so many varieties of red chili that are so American and so non-spicy. So I can see if you were a green chili purist, the kind of chili that we would have on chili cheese fries wouldn't seem like chili at all. And I've been to the country.
Okay, what's better, green chili or Cincinnati chili, Charles?
Well, Cincinnati chili is definitely in a place all by itself. In fact, in Cincinnati.
Oh, what a diplomatic answer. What a diplomatic answer. What a cop-out. I could say Cincinnati. I'm in a position to say that. Oh, yeah, Cincinnati chili is in a place. You could say that about literally any food. Oh, well, that's in a place all by itself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, fine. It depends on the mood I'm in.
I'll tell you what's in a place all by itself. Chow mein sandwiches. That's way by itself.
It's in two places by itself, smart guy. New Bedford and Fall River.
Oh,
so there.
Okay, fine.
It's in two places.
All right.
And you know how I know they're different?
How?
Because my dad was born in the one and buried in the other. So there's a smart guy. And he had chow mein sandwiches in both. Not in birth and death, but, you know.
Okay, you really got me on that one. All right.
And you know where else they have? You know where else they have chow mein sandwiches, smart man?
Where?
Coney Island.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, well, indeed. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as they stay on those reservations over there, those respective reservations, I'm perfectly fine with chow mein sandwiches. Just.
Yes, well, say what you like, but during the golden age of Chinese takeout, you couldn't even get them then.
All right. Well, moving on. I'm kind of done with this. I'm kind of over this.
I am so over this. All right. Let's move. People are going to call us a couple of giggling chucks or cucks.
Yes.
The giggling cucks. Wasn't that?
Yeah, giggling cucks. Correct. Yes.
All right, giggling cucks of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your sanity. Go ahead.
All right. So, So last week, I think it was last week, I requested everybody send in their pictures of Halloween displays in your kind of supermarket type places. We got a bunch of submissions from the patrons. So thank you, patrons who submitted your stuff. Am I sharing my screen with you, Charles? No. Let me do that now.
Not yet. I want to see.
Okay, here we
I
go.
really, ladies and gentlemen, I love this. I really do. Let's see. Oh, heavens.
So we got Casey John. And Casey John says, kids said, quote, send this to Charles. Halloween in Disney in July, very schmaltzy.
It's beyond schmaltzy. They look like a cross, frankly, between jack-o'-lanterns and the Kool-Aid logo.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty good.
But yeah, I'm glad to see it. I'm happy. I'm happy it exists.
Yeah. All right. Next, we got one from Joseph. Joseph said, this morning while listening during my commute to work, I heard myself called out for not providing a picture. So here it is. I just didn't see posting it as adding any value since Connor saw the same thing first. So here's... I think this is Costco maybe? One of those. So, Joseph sent in another picture and he says, today in Costco. So here's Costco for sure. Yeah.
Now see, the other looked like the Ancient Mariner and Diver Dan. But this is Children of the Corn.
Yeah. Let's see here. And I got one more from Cliff. What does he say? I'm late with submitting this picture, but it was taken July 13th in Crestview, Florida at the Cracker Barrel restaurant. Wow.
Well, now, Cracker Barrel, all right, we'll take this, but I got to tell you, Cracker Barrel always comes out with Halloween real early.
Oh.
But yeah, that stuff's really, okay.
And we got one more submission from Nicholas. He says, I've lost the Christmas contest, but I very much hope that I've won the St. Patrick's Day contest.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, man, this takes holiday creep to a whole new level. Oh, my stars. Look at that. St. Patrick's Day the previous July. Ladies and gentlemen, that's holiday creep, all right. After seeing that, I'm gonna need a double Jameson's for sure. No ice. Gosh.
That's so.
I have seen the mountain, ladies and gentlemen. I may not reach it with you. I may not. But I have seen the promised land. St. Patrick's in July. Okay. God bless him. I would go to that bar, I swear to you, every day of my life between now and St. Patrick's Day, on the off chance that... Okay, I surrender. You're the winner, pal. You won. You won the St. Patrick's Day contest.
Ooh, that caught you off guard a little bit. That's just like...
Yeah, yep.
Woo.
Now he wins. Yeah. He wins. He wins Halloween, Christmas. He wins Washington's birthday. I really have no response to that. Okay. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day. Only how many more months? Only 6 more months to go. Get ready. Only 6 more shopping months till St. Patrick's Day. Better get ready, folks. You don't want to be caught short with your whiskey and corned beef. better start filling the freezer with that corned beef. better lay in the cabbage while you're waiting. Oh my gosh, 6 months worth of waiting. I can hardly wait.
Whew.
When Irish eyes are smiling, sure 'tis like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. You know, wait a minute. That was an inside job, wasn't it?
Was it?
Chief Clancy was involved.
I would explain.
See, yeah, we explained a lot. Well, no. Don't you think you should start getting ready for St. Patrick's Day? But for this being an Irish bar now. Well, actually, it's not an Irish bar. I'm Italian, and my partner here is German. Oh, I think you're Irish now. You know, it's only 7 months till St. Patrick's. You better start getting patrons ready. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. We kind of went out of order because we're pretty kind of sort of like organic flow here, but a lot of stuff happened this week. I felt like before even pre-show, you and I were talking about a lot of things. A lot of things are in your are in your mind right now.
Well, that's true. I mean, well, first was, of course, President Biden being forced out of the race, which was interesting all on its own. But the speech he gave, I don't know what you would call it, the abdication speech, it was almost like a parody of one of Reagan's speeches, and he starts out here, sitting in this sacred space, meaning the Oval Office. And I thought, yeah, consecrated by that Vestal Virgin, Monica Lewinsky. And he's going on about how he admired all of our presidents, Washington and Lincoln and Franklin Roosevelt and blah, blah, blah. And he said he was very proud of his record. And he said he did mention he was proud of our victory in Afghanistan. He didn't say that. What he did say is, for the first time, I'm the first president of the 21st century who can say that America is at peace. But then he ended the speech by saying, God protect our troops. So which is it?
Well, I guess it's sort of relative peace for the eternal war. I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, it was all very, very sad. And now Kamala Harris, the lady who slept her way to the top, she is poised to become the next president of the United States. Now, rumor has it that when she becomes president, she's going to put a big red light in front of the White House.
So, yeah, I got you, Charles, on that one. By the way, to everyone, I apologize for the light behind Charles. It's anyone with epilepsy. Sorry about that one. Yeah. I told Charles there's a light right behind you. He's like, no, it's staying. So here we are. But
it's like a solar eclipse, you know.
That's actually true. But so you just said you just talked about Kamala Harris as if this thing is very set. But to me, my question is, what is the actual structure like? Because I thought we've got all these delegates here, and these delegates aren't Kamala delegates. So what, we have some sort of whip that says, hey, everyone vote for Kamala now? I mean, what? It's not a free-for-all? At the
No, of course not.
No?
No, you see, representation always means to do as you're told.
But these guys are protecting democracy, though. So
that's what I said.
Yeah.
You know, the man who best understood democracy, of all the political writers I've ever read, the one who really best understood democracy was Oscar Wilde.
What? Okay.
He described it as the bludgeoning of the people, by the people, for the people. So our masters tell us what to do, and we go, "Wah, wah, wah." We put on our masks, we pay our income tax. I told you, the new motto I've come up with for the Internal Revenue Service:
Yeah.
income tax,
Well,
choosing to share.
can we get a little bit more concrete on the delegate thing? So, okay, the masters say jump, and you're saying all the delegates, jump, but why?
Yeah,
Is it
well, for
money?
several
Is it threats? Like,
reasons.
what's there?
Well, what's there? First thing, everybody hates Trump. Number one. Number two, uh, if Kamala, the president raised a good deal of money for the Biden-Harris campaign. The Harris campaign can keep that money, but if she were to leave the race, it would all have to go back. So it's part of the problem. Another part of the problem is that the Democrats, they do not have an alternative, a functional alternative to President Biden. And so, by extension, they don't have one to Vice President Harris either. There is no serious Democratic figure to oppose her, just as there was none to oppose him.
Okay. I thought Newsom was jockeying for this whole thing. That's why he debated DeSantis before and this and that.
Yeah, but he's not going to do a knockdown drag out with a black woman.
Really? It's that simple?
Yep.
What about Michelle Obama? People are talking about her a little bit.
Well, that would make it different. You'd have a black man against a black woman. And certainly Michelle is more definitely black than Kamala.
Okay. But so there's no one else, there's no one contender who, you're telling me every contender is going to fall in line? No one's going to say, hey, why not me?
Nope.
Who does that? Who's the person with the stick on this sort of relationship? I want to see that interaction.
No, you don't. They use the stick on you. And you'd be expected to enjoy it. You'd be expected to enjoy it. That's the worst of it.
Wow.
No, I mean, seriously, they've actually painted themselves into a corner. And I think, I mean, it could be wrong, but I think that they're at least as concerned. I mean, I think they fear that Trump will win. So now the trick is to try to get to retain control of the House. And to do that, we want to get the blacks and the women out to vote. At least that's what they hope. The nightmare scenario would be Trump with control of both houses of Congress. And there's several reasons for that. I mean, number one, if you had been put through what Mr. Trump had been put through, you'd want to do a little payback. Number one. Number two, I don't care who you are, if you survived an assassination attempt, you'll feel a certain amount of messianic zeal. And I think they're probably afraid of that too.
I just hope they improve the Secret Service because sometimes life's not like a movie, Sometimes.
Well,
it
was like a movie, wasn't it? It was like a movie.
But that's not real life,
No, and I think if I were he, I would hire my own guards.
Yeah.
Because the Secret Service obviously is not reliable.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that, but there it is.
All right, so we've got that. Did you?
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Okay.
The Olympics.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah. The Paris Olympics with the whole Marie Antoinette talking head and the transvestite Last Supper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boycott the Olympics, gang. Have nothing to do with it. As soon as you see the circles, don't buy it. No deal. If you're supporting the U.S. Olympic team, stop. Just no. No, that's not the crap you're paying for. Now, ideally, in a world where things work well, the Pope would pull the Holy See out of the IOC and would pull the nuncio out of Paris and send the French ambassador packing. But that would be expecting guts, so we don't have to worry about that happening.
I have been I haven't been following the situation. Have any of the church hierarchy spoken out about this?
Bishop Barron.
Good for him. Okay. He does this a lot. I'm actually proud of him because he does. Whenever something stupid like this happens, he's on the megaphone, you know. So God bless him for
Bishop
that.
Strickland.
Bishop Strickland. Okay.
Bishop Strickland. And mind you, let's just for fun, let's see if the Holy Father has come out with anything. The Pope is just going on and hoping that a truce to the wars will come about because of the Olympics. But he said this before the opening ceremonies, so you can't blame him for that. You could blame him for the reaction there too.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what's happened. I'm going to be up here in Northern California until Thursday, and then you know what happens?
What?
Back to SoCal.
Home sweet home.
I want to go back. I don't want to be here. I mean, sorry. Do you miss the old setting? Do you miss the flags and all that?
For you?
Yeah.
I don't think as much as you probably do. But they're nice. Yeah, sure. I mean, they're a lot better than a hotel.
What are you saying?
I'm saying some flags are better than no flags, right?
Okay.
And also a blinding light behind you too. That is pretty. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Like people in comments, like send all that stuff toward Charles, please. Don't send it my way. Like I can't even. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're all in this together, ladies. We're all in this together, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, we're wearing our masks.
I need to wear some sort of protective eye. I don't know, lens. Maybe the glasses that you wear to like look at a solar eclipse. You know, have you guys ever had that where you can see and then you can look at it? Like maybe one of those glasses in order to get through this show.
Actually, maybe they should start wearing 3D glasses. We should start doing it in 3D.
Ooh.
You know.
Yeah. That. No. I'm good. Yeah. Don't do that. Okay.
No 3D glasses.
All right. Let's do some questions. Question from Michael. He says,
all right.
My fellow Americans, now that Charles is back in the one nation under God with liberty and justice for all, I have a question regarding the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's one way to put it, but yeah, okay.
I'm involved in state and local politics, and so I am often in meetings and gatherings where the Pledge of Allegiance is recited. As an American monarchist who pines for an American monarchy, I feel disingenuous pledging allegiance to a republic. I have no problem doing so to our flag, since it is the preeminent symbol of our country. But what do I do about the republic part? Keep silent when it comes up, cross my finger behind my back, or not recite the pledge at all?
Well, That's a very good question, and it's one I wrestled with for a long time. But I honestly, things would be different if we actually had an American monarchy, qua American monarchy. We haven't. In Star Spangled Crown, I sort of created one using bits and pieces that we already have here. But there is no real American throne, and no real heir to it. Part of the problem with this country is that it has become completely equated by its citizens with its form of government. In other words, for a lot of people, rather than the American Republic deriving its value simply from being the government of these United States, for many people, derive their value from the fact that they're a republic.
Yeah, understood.
You see what I mean?
Understood. Yeah. So it's different.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
It is different. It's very different. I mean, the United States of America are a nation of 50 sovereign states with associated territories and possessions that have a very peculiar and unique history to which we're all heirs, whether we like it or not. Its demands on us for loyalty and love stem from the fact simply that it's our homeland. So I see pledging allegiance to the Republic as simply being allegiance to the currently constituted government. I don't know, and I can't imagine any situation in which that would change. I just led the Pledge of Allegiance last Wednesday at the LA Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
I pledged allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And I was happy to do so. Because to me, whatever value our government has simply stems from being the government of this great nation. This nation is not great because of the government it has. And that's a distinction one has to maintain. The other thing, too, the under God piece does actually give you a way out, because you're pledging allegiance to the Republic so long as it is under God.
Interesting.
Well, think about it. I mean, if you're going to say that, I mean, that clause virtually makes it dependent, your allegiance to the Republic being contingent on that Republic's allegiance to God. So that's something to think about. And, of course, the other thing to remember, too, when you look at the United States and her kind of dodgy origins, their odd, the revolution and all that, imagine, if you will, that one of your parents was illegitimate. And perhaps the proper rape. Your horrific biological grandfather raped a maid, and the result was your father. Well, that's an unfortunate history. And obviously, on one level, you wish that your terrible grandfather had not done that to your defenseless grandmother, on the one hand. But on the other hand, you did get your father out of it, and he gave you life. So good came out of evil.
All right, next question is from Xenix. Superfan Xenix, shall I say. Xenix.
The lad in deepest, darkest Zagreb, Croatia.
He says, ahoy to the Gabor boy, and he who, because of Oswald Dupree, Vinny may one day employ. Wow. We haven't talked about Oswald at all lately.
No, Oswald has been sort of shunted aside by Joe Biden and the golden age of Chinese takeout.
Yeah.
I've often considered Oswald as being partly responsible for the decline of Chinese takeout.
Really? Why?
He was a cokehead, trying to think. It was the 80s, the 70s. That's just what he was. And the cokeheads hated MSG.
Why is that?
Well, they thought it looked like cocaine. So, take a couple of snorts of MSG and it doesn't really do a lot for you.
That's weird. Okay.
What arcade cokehead lore?
Yeah, that's a little that's it. Not arcane what is it? What did you say? Archaic or arcane?
Arcade cokehead lore.
Yeah. Not in my wheelhouse, I get criticized for not knowing a lot of things, but I feel like that shouldn't be one of the things. All right. Zenik says, a question for Charles. Would he please tell us the significance of Dante's De Monarchia getting put on and then removed from the church's prohibited books list? I see it getting used to justify dismissing its validity by black Guelph agents. Bonus points if more of the answer is dry theology of the magisterium than discontent about current troubles because of little brains with big mouths. Charles?
He's referring, of course, to the big mouth and the little brain, but never mind. No, I mean, it was obviously putting it on the index was obviously a political move by the Black Welfs. Taking it off again, finally, was the realization that there was nothing theologically wrong with it. I mean, that doesn't mean you might not disagree with it. You could. But what you can't say is that it's theologically incorrect. You may say it's factually incorrect. You may say he draws erroneous conclusions. What you can't say is that he's attacking the faith.
So, what exactly was he espousing in this?
Oh, the importance of the empire vis-a-vis the Pope, the papacy, and the fact that God has given divine authority to the emperor as well as to the Pope, but in different areas for different reasons.
Okay, interesting. And what are black Guelph agents again?
Well, originally the Ghibellines were the pro-imperial folks, and the Guelphs were the pro-papal, anti-imperial people in both Germany and especially Italy. And in the large parts of Italy, you had civil wars between them. Well, in places where the Guelphs triumphed, the Ghibellines were defeated. In some places, you then had a further split within the Guelphs because the white Guelphs came to espouse the empire like the Ghibellines had, and the black Guelphs continued to assault it under the guise of loyalty to the papacy.
Okay, that makes sense. Matthew has a really great question. He says, "Tell us all you know about royal confessors. How was a king's confessor usually chosen? Was he usually a relative of the sovereign? It would seem to be a grave and sensitive role, especially during the times of war and the Reformation. What role did such confessors have beyond spiritual direction?"
Very good question. One thing you got to bear in mind is every royal household, and that continues, by the way, to today in Britain, every royal household had an ecclesiastical household, a chapel royal, which, physically speaking, consists of the chapels of the different palaces, and very often as well the parish churches in which the different palaces sat. There would often be a bishop who was in charge of the ecclesiastical household, and often that bishop doubled as the chief chaplain of the armed forces. So, like you've got the Catholic Archbishop of Washington, Archbishop of the Army today. If this were a Catholic country, he might also head the ecclesiastical household at the White House. So the system that they had of appointing court preachers, as they call them, or the king's confessor. Each of these chapels royal would have a body of priests attached to them, and so those offices were generally taken for that body of priests. But it was a very varied thing. I mean, sometimes there was a famous preacher whom the king would want. So you can imagine a man like Fulton Sheen being called to the White House, Henry King in Washington, and made the king's confessor. Sometimes it was a random thing. It varied wildly. The most famous of these was Louis XIV's confessor, Father Joseph. It was called the Amador Screens, the Great Eminence. And his counsel to Louis XIV was not always the same as that of Louis XIII's father minister, Richelieu, but creative tension. At any rate, the role of these royal confessors was the way it is to anybody, except that they were sort of the king's spiritual director. So, to this day, in England, you've got court preachers in the Chapel Royal, and they're usually chosen because they're either fairly prominent on their own, or for whatever reason, the king likes them.
All right, one more question. Last question is from David, who says, what does Mr. Coulombe think about the anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protests happening around America recently, especially on college campuses? Especially among the liberals, there's a divide between the Jewish Democratic supporters and the pro-Muslim supporters. Though, interestingly enough, there's no support for the Palestinian Christians caught in the crossfire.
Yeah. Funny about that, isn't it? I honestly am not excessively happy, as you can guess, with all of that. I'm really not, because firstly, most of my career I've been listening to people unjustly called anti-Semitic because they favored the evangelization of the Jews, or because they didn't agree with this or that policy of Israel, especially things like spending American money on West Bank settlements and all that kind of thing. But in this past year, I've come face to face with real anti-Semitism. It's not just a myth. Anti-Semitism. It's not just for Nazis anymore. And again, I do not withdraw a single comment I've ever made against calling people anti-Semitic with no justification. But I have seen the true face of anti-Semitism when you can get it, and it's no better than fake, than the people who charge fake anti-Semitism. And above all, the fact that the Palestinian Christians are constantly left out of the whole thing. That really burns. If we had a government that pursued what I consider a sane policy, that would be the main thrust of our foreign policy in that part of the world, would be securing the rights and property and safety of native Christians and of the holy places. Keeping the cray-crays on both sides from killing each other and our co-religionists. But unfortunately, peace in that part of the world usually has been imposed by the outside. This is going to sound terrible, but they don't seem capable of maintaining it themselves. So anyway, there you go.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Any closing thoughts, Charles?
Yes. I think that it's really painful, to say the least, that the golden age of Chinese takeaway has ended.
Go on.
I think it's even more painful. I think even more painful that a whole generation has grown up not realizing what's been stolen from them. But what do you have to say to that as a child of that victimized generation?
What I have to say is, blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Sorry.
This was a good episode to watch, to listen via podcast. So I'm sorry, everybody. This is just I'm going to preface this. I'm going to try to preface this as much as I can in the beginning to get people to watch the audio, listen to the audio version instead, because this was a rough one.
To watch the audio version.
To listen to the okay. That
that's what you said.
Wow, someone's defensive. Someone's super defensive. Attack the grammar. Hey, you know what? When all else fails, Charles, attack the grammar. That's what I always say. You went after it and you got it. Good job.
You said watch the audio. and now I'm being blamed because you're asking them to do something so silly.
You're just okay. Don't ever let it go, Charles. Don't ever let it go.
Just throw me under the bus.
Okay. You know what? You're going after me. You're going after me on the Chinese takeout thing. Somehow you're pushing all of this on me, like, I wasn't aware, in that, I need to raise awareness for this, and
yeah, you do.
Raise awareness. We need to raise awareness.
We do, absolutely.
Our lost heritage.
Yes, we need community activists. We need community activists. We need bereavement counselors. we need life coaches. The whole panoply of the modern world's mind to come to help us in this.
Well, I hope we can get over it. I mean, there's just so much badness in the world. It's just this added on top of everything else. It's so hard to deal with.
Oh, you are so right. Now you're cooking. Absolutely. And I would just like to say that I think all of us should, listen to the video and watch the audio.
All right, Charles.
I have one question for you, though.
What is it?
What is it if it's off the menu?
You're gonna criticize me, and then you're gonna do that? You're gonna fumble it that badly, unabashedly? Really? We've been doing this for 8 years, buddy, and you're still mucking it up?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
All right, we'll try it again. What is it if it's Monday?
It's off the menu. And what about the soul you saved?
Whose soul may you save?
No, I'm asking you now.
What
soul? What about? Wait, what? Now, you've got me so riled up. What about the soul you save?
It may be your own.
There we go. See you next time, everyone. Don't go into the light. See you next time.
Go to the light.